Welcome to this edition of the Boob Tube Buddies podcast, featuring our discussion of the FX original series Fargo, episode 9 of the 3rd season, entitled Aporia. Just a couple of quick bits of information. You can check out all of our content at www.boobtubebuddies.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Reddit, or just email us at boobtubebuddies@gmail.com to get in on the conversation. We will definitely make sure your questions and theories get on the air. We actually have a few that we're going to cover that came in through email, YouTube, and other social media this week. But before we get into it, let me go ahead and introduce my little buddy. My name is Foxman, and I'm joined by the forgot to write something down to my Nathan. What's going on, man? God damn it, I didn't realize till I got to
until you got to that point. Let's see. I could be the toenail polish to your blackmailing phone call.
So good. Okay.
All right. I'm literally just skimming the episode now, trying to come up with things. I think that's what I am.
I guess you could be the death to my salesman. I mean,
yes. Yep.
I probably could have done a little bit better with my improv skills right there, but we'll leave it. This is authentic. You guys are getting first take every time.
There you go. Boom. Hey, what was the name of this episode again?
Well, I'm almost definitely not pronouncing it correctly, but it's Aporia, Aporia.
Aporia. All right. Once more, in the spirit of doing research on the air, an irresolvable internal contradiction or logical disjunction in a text, argument, or theory.
And this is why people tune into us. You know, we're just always just always on point. It literally instantly start off with me making a mistake and then you having to look something up on air. We're not even 2 minutes in yet.
We're doing a good job. Hey, you know what the good news is, though, is that this week's episode is a lot easier to follow than last week's episode.
Oh, my God, yes. It's grounded is what it is.
It's just narrative. Like, this episode is just pure narrative. The craziest it gets are just, like, long-winded speeches and some crazy deaths. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward narrative.
And there's a little bit of whatever is going on with Gloria is now seen.
The mystical
I'm doing
nature
air quotes right there. Yeah, so there's that part. But that's it. I mean, last week we had, I don't know what we had. I can't even sit here and put it in like a nice little package of what it was, because it was the most mystifying hour of television I've ever seen. Okay, so let's keep with the structure this week, exactly like the actual show Fargo did, and so we're going to do our first segment, which is 140 characters or less, used to summarize the entire episode. A little segment, Nathan, that we like to call "Summon It Up in a Tweet."
Oh yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up, summon it up. Oh yeah, we're summon it up. Oh yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up, summon it up and up.
Tweet.
Okay, all right. So I made a commitment last week that I was going to be doing all of my further tweets in Christmas Carol.
I'm so excited.
That means I only got this one and one more
to do in June.
I know, true. This also has made me keep it to 140 characters. So I'm proud to say that I actually had 34 characters remaining with this tweet.
Very impressed, because mine is so long that I pretty much had to turn my every sentence into a hieroglyphic to be able to get in 140 characters.
Yours is just like summon it up in a Tumblr post. So we'll just change the branding of the whole thing, and then you're good. All right, here we go. Really short, to the point.
Okay.
Jingle bells, precinct cells, Emmett tells it all. Rocky Road's got Varga's throat, but Nikki's got his balls. There you go.
Oh, that was so good. Oh,
Done.
It's so concise. I love it. That was very good. I also mentioned a little bit about the Nikki, Varga, and then something about the food. So you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
This is a very complex rhyme scheme, so I don't think it's going to go out very well. But again, first take, that's what we do here, so suck it up. All right, here we go. Varga Swango, death of a salesman zinger. She looks around and all she sees are ringers. We know Mimo got another redo. Fake grenades and electronics, see who? Gloria and Aporia feeling dejected. Nikki takes to Varga's deal like the food his stomach rejected. And that is summing it up in a very, very long fucking tweet.
That was the most complicated rhyme scheme you've probably ever built into a tweet that I've heard. But I
will say that I actually I got through it a lot better than I thought, because I thought I was gonna get so on the We Know Mimo got another redo. As I was trying to say that when I first wrote it out, it was like we knew Mamu Mimo got another Dormamamu.
Dormammu. You also hit a lot of stuff in that tweet, so that's like everything. You also electronic see who, I like that, and
thank you,
and the fact that gets mentioned in there. So let me kick it off really quick, because I have something I wanted to sort of hit on. And
what you got?
The beginning of the episode. So we talked about Ewan McGregor.
Oh shit! Wait!
Oh.
Scale 1 to 10. I'm so sorry to
you
cut
want to
in
kick it
on
off
you.
with that?
It's just because you know that we're supposed to do it in the beginning, and I've been forgetting lately because I am a terrible host.
True.
Oh Jesus! Don't say who as I'm saying I'm a terrible host. My God, man.
I said true.
Yeah, as I'm saying I'm a
true.
terrible
You're
host.
a terrible host. Yeah. True. Yep.
Put in a Christmas Carol, you fucking bitch. All right. Scale of 1 to 10. What'd you think about this week's episode?
I really liked it. I haven't even.
Me too.
Yeah, I haven't thought about 8.5. I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a Fargo 8.5.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's probably good, because there were some great things. Now I'm judging these episodes in the context of the whole season, and also with what they like. Does it engage me? And less about how does this compare as a Fargo episode in a whole. Although it does things that I like. So there's obviously really gratuitous violence in this.
Yep.
Which this season is sort of defining itself with a little bit. Like, there's been some crazy violence in this season in an awesome way. The beheading, the AC unit falling early in the season. And also just this grossness with Varga.
Oh my God.
Just shows up.
The scene with him in the stall eating the ice cream.
Ugh.
I swear to God, I will wake up having nightmares of that image 30 years from now.
Yeah, I want to know what the direction was when they were telling him to just literally look like you're basically puking backwards.
And the thing is, because he always looks like he's cringing. I mean, even when he's talking to Emmett, when Emmett gets in the car at the end, the look on his face, that resting face that he has, you've heard of RBF, resting bitchy face,
right?
He has resting consternation.
He
face.
Does.
I don't know.
Yeah, because he's always got his top row of teeth are always showing over his lip.
Yeah,
just even when he's just sitting there, right?
And that's great, because you want those chompers on display.
You gotta see those. Yeah. So, but
okay, yeah,
good episode. I liked it a lot. Again, very narrative, so it doesn't break a lot of boundaries here. It just moves us forward into what I'm a finale now that I'm super psyched about. But I also liked Ewan McGregor's performance in the beginning in his monologue. I thought that was good.
I thought that it was goddamn great. The 30 years I've been killing him, that was just when he fell, was maybe one of the best and most poetic singular lines of the entire season.
It's so good, and this coming from a season where we've specifically called out Ewan McGregor's performance as being just sort of good, not great.
Oh yeah, that scene wasn't hollow. That scene was excellent, delivered extremely well, and also really the first time I felt like, oh, so this guy has some substance to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I guess I felt like that a little bit in his scene with Ray. At the very least, the lines that he was delivering showed that he had some level of critical thinking.
Well, yeah.
It's a bit of a shame that he's been such a hologram of a character up until now.
It is. And I mean, that hologram has just been a guy who's been keeping a secret, basically. I guess internally we all knew that he really did, screw Ray out of the stamps. But he would never admit it. And he was just sort of portrayed as a guy who would never bring that up or ever admit that. So he just played dumb. And the side effect of just playing dumb is that he just came across like a dumb character, versus someone who's now willing to own up to their mistakes and, truly be honest with somebody for the first time. So you're really getting the first honest performance out of that.
Agreed. And we had talked very briefly a second ago about Varga and the eating scene. You remember how I dropped that bit of knowledge on you about how people who vomit all the time, how because of the gum sensitivity, there's almost a pleasure that comes from having a little bit of pain. The flossing can almost be a little a pleasurable experience because of how the pain feels when you've been thrown. Well, another little bit of bulimia trivia for you here.
I feel like we're gonna have to retract all of these. Like next week, we're gonna be like, "Hey, all that bulimia stuff, I don't know where we got that."
Yeah, Foxman literally just comes on air and then starts like spouting off like he knows anything about it. And if you guys have seen my beer gut before, you know that I don't have first-hand experience with bulimia. I will say I do struggle to brush my teeth in the morning. I have a terrible gag reflex. But okay, so eating the ice cream is actually like a kind of an old bulimia trick sort of thing, because if like when you eat it, it actually feels cool and soothing coming back up if you can like puke it back up right away afterwards. So like that's like something that's like a treat for a bulimic person.
Cool. Like I don't know how to respond to that, because anything I say that's like making fun of it is making fun of like a serious.
Oh God, no!
Dietary
I'm
concern.
honest to God, not making fun.
No.
Of,
I know you're not. I know you're
yeah.
not. But just when you say that in my head, it goes all sorts of places that I want to talk, but I'm not going to, because people deal with bulimia, and
it's like if I started talking about like super sensitive like racial subjects, right. or like if I started talking about like an odd thing that happens after like rape or something, or abortion.
It's like we'll just move on. I won't engage.
Do you like how even after I made you uncomfortable, I threw out a word salad of others
other
like
really
taboo
uncomfortable
subjects?
Things. Well, it is good to know that they're consistent though with the bulimia thing. That actually is, because if you don't know those things, then it just seems random. Like it just seems really that's what I thought. Like when I saw him eating the ice cream. Now that I know that, I'm like, oh, good continuity in that character. In my head, I'm like, I don't get it. What ties these things together? He's the teeth thing and the throwing up and ice cream. It's just grossness.
Yeah, no, they're like actual documented bulimic traits, I guess, is really what I'm bringing it up for that reason.
That's cool. I mean, that's I like that was thought up.
Yeah, and I mean, cool might be a strong word.
I don't mean cool like it's cool that he's bulimic or that anyone
Nathan,
is bulimic.
This is a very serious problem that people suffer from, and you're making light of it.
Fuck you,
and I don't know about that, okay?
Wow. Very good.
Okay. All right, I set you up, and now I feel bad. Let's move on. Because the problem is, Nathan, that, not that there's evil in the world. The problem is that there's good, because otherwise who would care?
So you said that Emmett gave one of the more poetic lines of the episode, and obviously that was the other one that came to mind, although that to me just seemed like, that wasn't the last line of the episode, right? No, because the end of the episode is the auditor finding that package.
And even before that is the Gloria and Winnie scene.
But it's towards the end, and it just feels like Varga saying something cryptic just to say something. I mean, I get what he's saying. I get the point of the set, like the phrase. But
it does sound like something only an evil person would say, not a good person.
Like, this guy is just stereotypically evil, and he just had to say that. And it is like saying the line, "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the world he didn't exist," which is what I would have compared that line to, had that also not been said in this episode.
Yeah.
Is that not purely Usual Suspects? Is that like a thing people say?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh.
I haven't heard it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's just all I know that line from is just The Usual Suspects, so.
All right, little buddies. This is Foxman from the future here. The next 2 minutes of the show are Wonder Woman spoiler heavy. So please, if you have not seen the movie, skip forward exactly 2 minutes from this point and you will be fine. I just could not possibly live with myself if I robbed you guys of the enjoyment of watching Wonder Woman without spoilers. And that's certainly not what we're trying to do here, is ruin shit for you guys. So skip forward 2 minutes if you have not seen Wonder Woman. Now back to the show. You had been asking me if I had seen Wonder Woman, presumably now that I have seen it, because David Thewlis is in it and he is the bad guy.
Correct, yes.
So was there anything you wanted to ask me about with it? Because I had to keep putting you off the last 2 weeks about that.
Just what did you think of him?
I loved it, by the way. Great movie.
It's a cool movie, man. Wonder Woman.
Very good.
Super cool movie. What did you think of? I didn't see David Thewlis coming in that. What did you think of him? Did you see? Now we've just spoiled that he's the bad guy, but regardless.
Yes, I mean, I liked I really liked his acting. Mm-hmm. I didn't really buy him in any of like the physicality part of it.
Yeah, he was not the right, or not the right choice, but not the obvious choice for that character. And so maybe that was on purpose, right? Because you would never think that the old cripple guy is actually, and so when he does become that, it's like, whoa, the person I least expected, except that I've been watching Fargo for 6 or 7, 8 weeks at that point. So he was the person I first suspected when I saw him.
I will say that we should probably write in the show notes or something
Wonder
to
Woman
that
spoilers.
effect. Yeah, Wonder Woman spoiler and then like, can you mark down whatever time we're at real quick? Just like look.
Yeah, let's not
and
say
then I honest to God might even add in like a little thing at the very beginning, like a disclaimer.
That's fine. Yeah, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, and the only other thing I will say real quick about it is it reminded me a lot of what's the one that has Jeff Bridges in the Iron Man movie? Like, and I didn't totally buy him in the physicality of that role either.
Yeah.
So it just reminded me a lot of that.
The first Iron Man movie. Yeah.
Totally. Okay. Anyway, so now that we spoiled the shit out of it and like ruined everybody's day.
Hey, go see Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Also,
exactly.
go see Wonder Woman.
Okay, so what other stuff do we want to talk about here? We did have some people write in. Do you want to cover some of the stuff that they wrote in real quick?
Yeah, let's do that because we can get back to our thoughts later because I've got some stuff. But yeah, let's go to what do our fans think.
Okay, cool. So we got a couple of things. First off, a correction from 2 episodes ago. Well, not a correction, but just adding on how I was saying that Mr. Wrench is in all 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. In season 2, which didn't make sense how he would have been at the end of it, and I couldn't remember or explain it. It's because Mr. Wrench was one of the kids at the end of season 2.
And I remember the sign language happening at the end of season 2, and you go, oh, that must be the deaf guy from season 1. That must be Mr. Wrench. But you have no other clue to that other than the fact that someone is speaking sign language to him. You go, oh my God.
That's exactly right. And so thank you to Marco on YouTube for that one. Also on YouTube, Scotia Novia, I think I'm saying that right, said in the last episode, and also Freylosopher, who does our Sense8 podcast and is a contributor to other things, he had brought up that Emmett wasn't sedated. He still had the pills in his hand and faked the slumber, but it was a very odd cut. It was very quick. So it's very reasonable, I feel like, that we missed it, but obviously a lot of other people caught it.
So in that case, he fakes taking the pills, he goes and falls asleep, but then what he actually does is sneak out to the precinct. And so we talked last week about whether or not we thought Emmett was truly, like, of his own volition going to the precinct, or whether this was part of Varga's bigger plan, which I was still confused at in this episode for a while, because Varga was talking about what they were going to do with Emmett now that he's at the place, but Emmett was working of his own accord and Varga was just taking advantage of it, right?
For sure. Honestly, I had forgotten that we were talking about that last week, and at no point during this episode did I feel like he was acting as some agent of Varga.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like this was really his trying to break the chains sort of moment.
Yeah.
And that everything that Varga and Mimo, which is the henchman, were doing were basically just, essentially racking up a body count strictly to discredit the story that Emmett was
just
telling.
so they could pin all of it on someone else. But there had to be a sufficient body of kills, to pin on somebody else.
Nice. You're like very inappropriate today, I feel like. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I feel like right before we hopped on, you're sitting there with your Beats headphones, just like walking around your room real quick, and you're just listening to like Eminem, like singing about, battering women and stuff, like getting yourself all jacked
Let's
up. Let's
fucking podcast about Fargo. I'm just getting into it, man. I don't care about anyone's feelings tonight.
Okay, the last one I want to bring up real quick, and again, thank you to Marco and Scotia Novia on YouTube, but Philip wrote in on email, and I'm just going to basically quote it out to you real quick, and then we can break it down, okay?
Cool.
Okay, he says, you might want to mention that the Wandering Jew / God / the guy Ray Wise character brings a bit of the Twin Peaks universe into Fargo. Have you seen Twin Peaks, Nathan?
I have not.
Okay, I have not either, and this week, and it's not even out yet, or maybe Mothman put it up today, but for his Twin Peaks episode, I recorded a bit as somebody who, and I have not, has not seen the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks, but just comes in and watches season 3, episode 1, the new one.
Okay.
And my God, this was not designed to be watched by anybody who has not seen the first 2. It was the biggest steaming pile of shit I've ever seen because I had no frame of context.
I'm glad I did not I'm glad I didn't engage in that
dude.
experiment.
It would be the worst. Like, honestly, like, I feel like it put the test of Mothman and I's true friendship. Like,
you're like, how do
it
you
put
like
it through
this?
the ringer. Oh yeah, exactly. Well, and not just that. How could you subject me to 2 hours of this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, but do you get what the comment is about, which is that the character of quote-unquote God brings a Twin Peaks vibe to the show?
No, I have no fucking idea.
Okay.
I only watched like an hour and a half of the 2-hour episode of this one.
Really?
So I'm sorry, Philip. I have nothing to give you with that.
What I know
Did you watch Serious Man?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well then I'll go ahead and skip past that one.
Sorry. I've always wanted
Nathan,
to.
What have you watched?
Most Coen Brothers movies.
How can Philip phrase this in a way that will get through to you? Actually, Philip, do you want to compare this in any way to Flash Season 3? Because we could definitely break that down.
I didn't watch Flash Season 3.
Oh, is that true? Oh my God!
Oh, am I really
it's
just...
Wonder Woman or bust. It's Wonder Woman or bust.
I've seen Wonder Woman like so many times, but that's it. And I've never watched anything leading up to Wonder Woman.
Okay, so do you remember the myth of Sisyphus from Season 2?
Of Fargo?
Okay, so we'll skip past that one too.
What the fuck?
Do you know the Book of Job?
Yes, I know the Book of Job.
Oh, you do?
I think I brought up Job last week.
Oh, okay. So he says, the stamp references the myth of Sisyphus from Season 2. Not much of a stretch to get to Book of Job.
Yeah, I thought about Job, but hold on. Myth of Sisyphus. Are you... What... What are we comparing this to? What is the mystery we're trying to get to the heart of here? Because I'm lost.
Oh, see, I just basically stopped reading out his email and started bringing up the points of reference to see if there was any reason. So,
well,
okay, while you're looking that up, here's what he says, the full thing. Okay, like just
I'm happy to hear
unabridged. You might want to mention that the Wandering Jew God Ray Wise character brings a bit of the Twin Peaks universe into Fargo. Set that aside. We have no idea what's going on there.
Got it.
Also, his Talmudic references ties Serious Man into this series. Haven't seen it. Moving on. The stamp references the myth of Sisyphus from Season 2. Looks like we're about to get there. Not much of a stretch to get to the Book of Job. The unifying theme is desperately unhappy people intersecting with very bad people. Pretty much true there. So we have Lester and Malvo, Peggy and the Gerhardts, and Emmett and Varga.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so that's the full thing.
Cool. So, which we've sort of touched on a little bit. I did not know the whole story of the Wandering Jew, but I know what I can kind of see from what I know about A Serious Man of what he's trying to tie in there. In terms of the myth of Sisyphus, that was the name of an episode of Fargo, but do you remember what he's referring to there in Fargo Season 2?
No idea.
Okay. The myth of Sisyphus itself is introducing the philosophy of the absurd, man's futile search for meaning, unity, and clarity in the face of an unintelligible world devoid of God and eternal truths and values. That's the point of the myth of Sisyphus, but I'm not going to dive further into that. But we talked about like good and evil, and I think that you see a lot of that this episode as well. I'm watching this episode with just a simple perception of this is good and evil vying for a man's soul, right? This is the devil and the angel on the shoulder of Emmett trying to tell him what to do. And no matter how hard he tries to do the right thing, the devil is constantly pulling him back anyways. So he thought he did the right thing by going to the precinct. He thought he did the right thing by confessing. And then in the end, he literally gets let out, which is an insane thing to happen to somebody who just committed to or confessed to a murder.
Very true.
So that's kind of how I was perceiving it. But I want to now later dive into everything in that email and try to. He seems to have a really good understanding of what's happening.
Philip, you are so much like more intelligent than both Nathan and I. It is goddamn ridiculous. I'm sure that this last 5 minutes of this podcast has been unlistenable gibberish to everybody as our tiny little brains try to wrap themselves around your just absolutely genius level thoughts. So I'm sorry that we couldn't give you a better response. I mean, especially let me apologize on behalf of Nathan, because nobody expects me to be able to get these things. But when Nathan can't get it, I mean, it's truly a sad state of affairs.
I'm excited to come back next week with the ferocity of a college professor like a literature
Nice.
professor diving into this. That's what we'll do. We're going to be goddamn literature people next week.
Oh my God! Don't wrap me in with that. There's no way I will ever be a literature person.
We can't talk about film things though. Those I know.
Okay, yes you do. And real quick, let me throw over to somebody else who knows their shit. We have Kristen from the Boob Tube Buddies who just wrapped up Sense8, which speaking of a myth of Sisyphus and, you know, God being devoid and like nothing mattering and all that shit. When Sense8 was canceled and they were already 2/3 of the way through covering season 2, that was a huge bummer, and I know that they were pretty Sisyphus-y. So anyway, I'm gonna let her go ahead and do her darn tootin', all right?
All right, let's do it.
Darn tootin'.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is your Boob Tube Betty, Kristen, with your weekly Fargo facts. Did you know that in season 2, episode 9, aka Castle, is narrated by Martin Freeman, who played Lester in season 1? Pretty neat, huh? Did you also know that Jim Gaffigan, and I hear the guys have been wondering about this, was actually slated to play Rando Cop Donnie Mashman in season 3, but unfortunately had to drop out due to conflict scheduling. And lastly, and bear with me here, this is a mouthful, there is a Jewish symbolism throughout the first 4 episodes of season 1. Lester Nygaard's house number is 613. The ransom note to Stavros asks for a mounted ending in 613. And when Gus talks to Molly after he has been arrested, after he's arrested Billy Bob Thornton, he tells her that he was on a 613, a dead dog. According to Judaic authorities, there are 613 mitzvahs, or commandments, in the Torah. Of course, we also keep seeing the mitzvah tank in front of Gus's apartment at the gas station where Gus gets the 613 call. I don't know, folks. What do you think that means? Write us at boobtubebuddies@gmail.com and let me know. Okay, then.
Darn tootin'.
Okay, thank you very much to Kristen, and honestly for continuing to have done this throughout the whole season. I told you guys she's doing Sense8. She also has Orange is the New Black coming up soon with Bethany. I think they're going to start probably next week, because after next week, no more Fargo. Oh my God, that's another thing I got to bring up. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, but let me get run it to. Did you? I read in an interview this week, Noah Hawley was talking about how, like, pay attention to what's happening in Fargo because this may be the last season.
Huh? Really?
Did you didn't hear that?
No, but why would pay attention to what's happening in Fargo matter if it's going to be the last season?
I'm sure that was a really terrible translation in my brain of what he said.
Okay.
It was something to that effect.
But he's basically saying enjoy it while it lasts, because it might not be coming back.
Something like that, yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, we've heard this one before, like fucking Michael Jordan coming back and playing for the Wizards. Am I right?
Right.
No sports references.
I know. I remember when
if it's not Minnesota Gophers.
See, I don't know anything about it if it's not the Gophers. I remember that happening. I was paying vague attention.
Shout out to LD on YouTube, right? Our Minnesota Gophers resident expert.
Which I still feel awful about.
Yeah, we're just bad people. I mean, you know what it comes down to, Nathan, is the problem is not that there's Boob Tube Buddies in the world. Mm-hmm. The problem is that there's our YouTube commenters, because otherwise, who would care?
That's poetic. Where'd you come up with that?
Yeah, thanks. Okay, all right. So I have added in just absolute nonsense into the last 20 minutes of the episode. Why don't you get us back on track?
Okay, all right.
Let's talk about some of the episode.
Here's something I talked about last week. The time jump happened last week, and we were mentioning the pros and cons of jumping so far forward in time, right?
Yeah,
just as a plot device. But what I said is, what I like about it is it provides this mystery of where is Nikki, and what has she learned, and what is she planning, and what is happening with her. And that mystery last week leads to a cool payoff this week, where you don't see her at all until she slams in the door of the truck, and she and Mr. Wrench get away with a heist of Varga's big semi-truck. which
A great scene, too, with that
cool
fake
sequence.
grenade.
Oh, my God. The whole sequence was cool. So them robbing the truck was cool and taking it. And then this oneer when they're at the dump, and they go into the truck and they go all the way to the end. They find the suitcase. They leave. They get in their car. They go. And you're like, holy shit, they did it. They pulled it off. No one was waiting for them. It wasn't an ambush. Nothing was, they just pulled off whatever it is that they were going for.
They had the upper hand, yeah.
Yeah. And presumably...
And also just love their team up, dude. It's so good. I mean, there's nobody watching the show that isn't fucking cheering when that's happening.
Well, and when the drums come in. So now you've got this callback to season 1 with this
So
drum riff.
true.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so when you see Mr. Wrench and the drums start, you're like, oh, we're watching Fargo. I love it,
Oh, yeah.
And then she really does just seem to have the upper hand in everything against Varga right now, which feels great because so far in the season, Varga hasn't been the one on the run at all. And now she calls him, blackmailing him, basically completely unthreatened by him.
Do you remember the opening line when they first meet in that scene?
No, what is said?
She says,
the death of
loved
a
you in
salesman?
Death of a Salesman.
Yeah.
And he says, hilarious. It was really funny. And I love that not only did he look that way, and he really did,
everyone else
call
did.
back to that. But yeah, everybody else looks like, and I mean, he clearly orchestrated that, but it's just so funny.
Yeah. Well, she called him Willie Loman later in the conversation as well. Like she called back to that joke.
It was really good, and just the fucking balls on her, so fucking good. I mean, because her character in most shows and in most frameworks might really come across as unlikable. She, for a while, you really did wonder, is she only with Ray for the reasons that people seem to think that she is,
right.
and all that. But no, it turns out she is one of the most keenly likable people in this entire season, other than maybe Gloria. But Nikki, I feel is way more dynamic.
Well, and so I agree. And Varga offering her all the money to come work for him, did two things in my head. One, it proved that point that you just made, which is that Nikki really isn't in it just for herself. She's standing up for her values and what she believes, and she's willing to do what it takes to do that. So, yes, she's trying to get money out of this, but it's not just that, or else she would have taken the more money that Varga was offering. Although I will admit, he only ever said that he was adding zeros to her salary. If her salary was 0, he didn't actually add anything.
At some point, you're saying he should have added a 1 in and made sure
just
that it was to the
some
left
integer,
of the
just like an
decimal
integer
point.
at the start of it, and then add all the
Yeah.
zeros, and I'm happy with
Yeah.
that. But
That's a good point.
it also was a weird thing to me when Varga, both of these people, neither of them felt like they were untouchable. They both felt like they had stuff to lose. Varga felt like he had the upper hand at first because there's, the barrel of a gun on Nikki, and then she grabbed the upper hand again, back and forth. But Varga's, way out of it, just to offer her a job and money, felt kind of weak of him. Just to be okay, I'm trapped, whatever, come work for me, I'll give you money, I'll give you more money and more money. It's really, is that all of the control that he has right now, is just to offer her more and more money until she goes away?
I have no idea whether or not this is true, but my just gut initial thing that I was feeling in that moment is maybe that's how he got Mimo and how he got Yuri, is that, there was at some point in time where their paths crossed and maybe they were at odds with each other, and he was very impressed with the gumption that they showed in being able to thwart him or something like that, and better to bring them into the fold than have to have them as enemies.
I guess and there is a world I can picture where Nikki worked for Varga, that the physicality of that makes sense. If the season had gone very differently, perhaps. But it's just weird to me because when I think villain, I think someone who's able not just to sway you with money, but sway you with words and convince you of their way of thinking so that you then fight for them, not just because it's a paycheck, but because you want to fight the fight that they're fighting. And with Varga, it's not that way. You almost now see that everybody who does anything for him is doing it because he offered them a shitload of money, and Nikki's now just not taking it. And that might be the thing that breaks, the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah, he's not talking anybody into anything because most of the time nobody understands what the fuck he's talking about. He certainly wasn't trying to talk Sai into doing anything by talking about what a fat Jew pig his wife was, Well,
I guess that's a good point. He persuades through money and he persuades through action. Really weird fucked up, strange schwanz action.
Yeah, oh my god, dude, that fucking wet schwanz of his.
And then beyond that, I mean, because we've really, this episode was very to the point.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Gloria is the last major topic in my head because
let's break that down. Do you think what do you think, was it the hug that made her real now? Like somebody sees her real. So she's real, so electronics can stop waging their Cold War against her?
Well, let's think about it. So, number one, I like that she admitted, there's sort of this thing that happens sometimes in movies and TV shows where this mystical thing happens to one person, and for whatever fucking reason, they never mention it to anybody. And I don't know why, and it's been that way in this season so far. There have been times where Gloria has gone, though, are you seeing this? And for me, that's a touch of reality, because I'm like, if some crazy weird shit is happening to me, I'm not keeping it to myself. I'm going to go tell everybody there's this weird supernatural shit going on, and I can't explain it. Here, watch, And so she admits it. She says it out loud to Winnie, and there may have been...
And the rest of the times when she said it, though, was just a thought here and there, but then kind of suppressing it because, oh shit, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, she brushed it off. Yeah, never
she
mind.
Flat out explained, so here's what I think is happening. I know it sounds insane, and of course, yes, it fucking does. But I'm totally with you that, to me, that was jarring in a good way, that she actually just put it into words.
Yes, it's thank God, someone who's willing to at least express what they're going through. And Gloria's always been that way this season. She says the thing that you've always wanted a television character just to fucking say,
Yeah.
Which is just no, here's how the shit actually is. We talked about how good she is at laying out the reality of the situation. And in this case, to somebody that she trusts, she says everything that's going on with her, so that's cathartic in a way. And she admits what she feels from that, which is that she sometimes thinks, and she has a theory that she's not real, which is kind of a theory that, goes around in your head when somebody's practically invisible, but only to technology. And so I think it was the hug in some capacity because she was reluctant to do it when he stood up and hugged her, and Gloria didn't actually fully give into that for a few moments. And then she sort of just relaxed into that hug. And then I guess that's where shit changed. I don't know, accepting herself.
Yeah, that was actually a touching moment though when they get up and she gives her the hug, and you can tell that Gloria's body's a little tense, and then she just kind of buries her head into Winnie's shoulder. I was like, oh, that was a nice moment.
No, it's awesome. But I'm trying to think of the emotional character change that happens there that also sparks a physical change in the way she interacts with technology. And,
so that somehow catapults into season 10 and becomes a significant changing moment.
Oh, episode 10? Yeah.
No, I'm saying this moment, I'm sure in some ways this motivates or is a catalyst for something that is going to be significant.
The obstacle that's been holding her back from being able to be effective this season is now gone in some way.
Exactly.
And we're representing that in the fact that, she's now able to wash her hands with a, emotion sensing faucet. But that because that's been an obstacle the whole season for her, as has her ability to actually accomplish her task, her quest. Now we know, well, this one metaphorical obstacle is gone, so must the other be. And now she's going to be able to do whatever she needs to do in episode 10. So,
it seems like there's a lot that has to happen. Yeah,
you're right.
There's no hint of the end in sight necessarily for Varga. I guess a little bit. No, I shouldn't say there isn't a hint, because there is with the Nikki and Mr. Wrench stuff. But I don't know. It feels like we're pretty far away from the giant being toppled. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, something weird must happen. Something has to come out of left field and just end it, And I don't know what that is, but that's kind of cool to be how does this end? Because I can't see how they're going to wrap it up so quickly, but knowing that they have to. So something must be interesting. Hey, predictions. Who do you think dies next episode? Who makes it through the season?
I think that Nikki dies next episode. Okay. I think that Varga and Mimo die next episode. Okay. And I think that Emmett dies next episode.
All right, so we're literally going with Varga makes it through.
Yeah, and I think that Sai wakes up from his coma, and that he and Gloria are the only two major characters that make it through, unless you count Winnie as a major character, which I don't really.
No, she'll be fine. I think I'm gonna throw a little extra caramel on top. I think the auditor dies.
Oh, fuck. I totally forgot about
think the
that.
IRS
I can
agent
see
does.
that. A little caramel on top. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, and let me mention, by the way, since you absolutely fucking destroyed me at Two Truths and One Big Little Lie this season, you have to come up with some sort of punishment for next week's episode. So don't announce anything now. Obviously, you don't have anything ready, but just like give it some thought.
I've got some thoughts.
I mean, if it's something I need to prepare for, tell me off air with as much time as possible. If it's something that you just want to like ruin my night with next week, that's fine too.
I may tell you what it is, but I don't think you'll have a lot of prep time. I've got some ideas.
Oh my god! All right, so let's let it stew, let it percolate, and we love hearing from you guys. So Marco, Phillips, Scotia Novia, LD, thank you guys all for writing in. There were others too who's enjoyed the episode and wrote stuff in. So anything you guys got coming into the finale, we want to hear it. For anybody maybe that we spoiled anything on Wonder Woman, I am really sorry.
I just didn't think about it.
I swear to God, what I'm going to do, I'll tell you off air, but I'm going to try my best to do something that's going to make sure that we didn't, like, fucking ruin somebody's experience with that. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Reddit. We have the Patreon page, and I guess that's pretty much it. So, Nathan, would you like to tie a bow on this bitch?
I would love to. See you next time, little buddies. For the last time for Fargo, for this season, for Boob Tube Buddies. See you next time.